Good evening, guys. Here I am with my great mate Al Glanville, Edithvale Aspendale legend. Al's been a past player, he's also been a committee person, and he's also done some wonderful things along the way, working at functions and being the compere at league functions. Sorry. How are you, Al?
I'm
great to catch up.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for the offering.
1994, Al, as a young kid, walked into the area.
74,
sorry. 74. 1974.
That's right.
Walked into the area,
Yeah.
and you and your dad moved in from Murrumbina.
We did.
And you moved into the area, and that's how you got associated with the Edithvale Football Club?
I did, yeah. Dad got a phone call from the school to say to come up and see them. And I had no idea about this. And anyway, what had happened was the principal of the school at the time invited my dad to come down and have a chat. He said, you want to take your boy out of our school because he's knocking around with a couple of louts. And with that, inside 5 days, we landed in Aspendale. I didn't even know.
Oh, really?
I didn't even know where Aspendale was.
So this is the Murrumbina Primary School?
This was actually, I was at high school, and it was Murrumbina High at the time. And
Yeah.
in fact, Robbie Flower was a couple of years older than me, but Robbie was there.
He was there?
He was so good, he wasn't allowed to play school footy. That's how
God.
good he was. He used to umpire the games instead of playing.
So you get to Aspendale. When did you start to play senior football there?
So my first senior game was I was skipper of the under 18s, and I had a handful of games that year in '79.
You won an under 18 league medal?
I did, yeah. No, I was lucky enough to win from a bloke down at Hastings, a ripper bloke. Bubbers was his nickname. I can't think of it. Milesy would know his name.
Yeah, Milesy.
Great player. Played a lot of footy against Milesy. Yep. In '79, I got lucky. Yeah.
So '79, you won the under 18 league medal,
and we won the flag that year.
And
too.
you won the flag.
Yep.
And you also played your first senior game.
Yeah.
So that was a big year for you?
It was a great year. Look, all of my junior years at Aspendale were enormous. I played under some great coaches. We had a lot of success. We won the flag in '76, and Gerard Healy was a part of that team, and some great players. Brett Wright.
So did you sacrifice your career a little bit for Gerard to move forward?
Gerard was a long way in front of all of us at our footy club, and that was seen early days. I mean, he was just a jet at under 14s when I was playing with him, right through to under 16s. 1 year in under 16s, they pulled him out to play him in the under 18s. That's how good he was. And from there, he played in the seniors, and well, we all know where we ended up.
You all played, went to the Teal Cup.
Well, look, we were invited to the Teal Cup.
Yeah. Which in those days was the under 17 championship, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Myself, another great. Pardon me, I'm not rating myself as a great player. Brett Wright,
one of the
legend of the football club. Gerard Healy, Dale Moulton, brother of Chuka Moulton, great player in his own right. And the four of us were invited up for the trial games. There's a series of games, and you get eliminated or you get picked or whatever. Anyway, we got right to just about the end. And the club came to the four of us and said, look, we are really setting up our senior team, and we're considering all of you. This weekend we're going to pick you, but it was the weekend of the trial games up in Shep. Some great players played that year too. Anyway, Dale and I decided to go.
Yes.
And Brett Wright and Gerard decided to stay. They ended up, fortunately for them, playing in the '78 senior flag.
God, as kids.
To this day, it's probably, the flag of our, we've won many flags, but that was the one that touched everyone's heart. There was so many kids playing in that team.
And that's because they were all homegrown boys?
Well,
and
for the most part, the whole team was homegrown.
And young kids?
All young kids.
So 78, who did you beat in 78?
Mornington were red hot favourites. They had a wonderful footy team and bloody tough and big. Back then was tough, Al. Boy, did you earn a kick.
Did you earn a kick? God.
She was pretty tough.
Yeah.
And most of us were skinny little runs, except for Dale. Dale was a well-built, and Brett Wright was.
Brett was a solid boy, wasn't he?
Yeah, they plonked him in a forward pocket, and I think he kicked about 4 goals. It was just amazing to think that a kid 16 could do that at senior level, in a grand final. But it was a great memory, '78, and from there. Well, Gerard went on, didn't he? And Brett became probably the greatest decorated player at the club. And
he played over 300 games. He won multiple club best and fairest.
7 best and fairest.
And talk about best and fairest, Al. Like, what years did you win the league best and fairest?
I was lucky enough to win one in the under-18s as skipper in
79. And then you won back-to-back in the reserves, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of my career, my last 4 years were captain of the reserves team. I had a ball, except... You know, it was you were getting a clip every week.
Yeah,
no worries about that. It was I had some epic adventures against the Pines over the years, but they were tough years, but really fun. Lots of fun. Yeah, I won a couple of medals in the reserves.
But not only that, you come runners up multiple times as well, Al, at 7 or 8, wasn't it?
It must have been the headband.
Yeah, and back in those days, you would have had a few more tips in your hair, wouldn't you?
I had the long hair, but I did get. Yeah, I probably had some tips too. But I think I was running up about 7 or 8 times. But nevertheless, lucky to win a couple.
Yeah, and also along the way, Al, you stayed at Edithvale, and then you did a bit of a stint up the bush to Daleston.
Yeah, no.
What year was that?
A club leader by the name of Paul Leonard got an offering to coach up at Daleston in 1982.
Right.
It was a real touchy time for Aspendale. Now, if I look back and reflect, I wish I had have stayed. Not that I didn't enjoy my time at Daleston, but the club...
Would have been a couple of good road trips up to Daleston.
Well, that was probably why I ended up coming home, because my liver gave in, and so did the relationship I was with a beautiful girlfriend. So I had some fun at Daleston. When you go and play country footy, you make friends for life. And we had a good year or two there. I went really well. Ended up playing interleague down there, and
which would have been fun.
It was fun. I remember the game. It was played at the Doveton Oval, and I come across 3 Henwoods. And a guy called Fraser, a great little rover, and all the Doveton people.
I come across the Henwoods when I was at Berwick, and
well, they reminded me of how tough it is at interleague levels. But it's all great experience. All footy is great. Great experiences.
Of course.
I'm still at Aspendale.
But the friendship.
Forever.
And then from Daleston, you lasted a year and a half down there or so, and then you came back to the peninsula, but you didn't go back to Edithvale, Al. So what made you...
Well, it's pure and simple. My girlfriend at the time, Rhonda Watts, was living with a couple of Bonnie guys, and Rowan McCauley and Timmy Hogan and a couple other roosters, and I got to becoming chums with them, and next thing you know, I'm down there training, and I'm playing, and I was lucky enough to go halfway through 84. I was cooked and done at Daleston. I'd had enough. Great people, but I just wanted to
So you left there halfway through the year.
Just before clearances closed.
Just before clearances. Yeah. You rock up at Bomb Beach, who have had a great start to the year.
Pretty reasonable start.
Yeah.
Oh, there were 2 teams that were standouts that year, and that was Crib Point and Red Hill. They were just fantastic sides. I remember turning up, and I didn't play against Crib Point in the home and away, but they beat Bonnie by 12 and 14 goals during the year. Yeah. And Red Hill gave them a bit of a touch up down at the chip as well.
Yeah, the old chip.
But we came into the finals okay. Our club was legendary for getting on the gas and having a good time, a lot of camaraderie and stuff. But they took it to the nth at Bonnie, and those people at Bonnie would know they'd take that on as part of love, and it's...
Yeah.
I tell you what, I still love going down to footy club.
Well, that was what football was about back in the 80s, wasn't it?
Absolutely. But I had a guy called Johnny Airdrie come from the Gippsland to come and coach us. He's a terrific fella, John. More renowned now, I suspect, probably for his time spent at the helm at Beaconsfield and getting there up as a really, really strong club. Well, John took on the reins, and he saw during the year that he had the cattle, but he just didn't think that he had the mindset of the players. I'd come from Daleston. It too was a culture of play hard after game. But gee whiz, this footy team at Bonnie in '84, they really weren't rising as they should as the collective talent that they were.
But obviously, at the end of the year, they got themselves right.
Well, it wasn't by any chance either. It was John Airdrie actually put the ultimatum on the players. There was no red brick, right? You're not allowed to go to the red brick on a Friday night.
Was that the local pub?
The local pub, the red brick, Chelsea pub. There's numerous stories, and we haven't got enough time to cover them all. But John knew that the few of the fellas, that was their game thing. They'd have a few beers. They wouldn't be fall down drunk, but they'd be happy. And what happened was, with 4 weeks to go, he got us swimming, extra training nights, and started to think about the reality of, hey, we're a chance if we if we put it together,
and make a few sacrifices along the way.
And training all of a sudden,
picked up.
Well, the spring, the smell of cut grass, the warmth.
Oh yeah.
We were, mate. Training was like nothing they'd ever seen. We went into the semi-final that year against Dramana, a really, really good footy team. Darren Guest was their over. He won the league medal. Just a terrific little player. We blew him off the park in the first semi. It was horrible. It was 14 to 15 goals. And then what had happened was Crib Point got beaten by Red Hill in the second semi, which was like no one ever dreamt that was going to happen. And we thought, wow, we don't want to face Crib Point in the prelim. Anyway, we do face Crib Point, and to be honest, they were all over us like a cheap suit, and we just didn't have the answers. Then someone got king hit, Jimmy Bell got king hit behind play just before the three-quarter time huddle. And most extraordinary scenes I've seen at a team huddle ever. We were playing at the Somerville ground that day. Anyway, so all of a sudden, it was like the huddle was about 200 people strong, and there was a really strong contingent of the girlfriends and wives. And John asked us all to lift, and the support and the screaming from the fans was
I can feel it now, Al.
Oh, mate,
I can feel it now, yeah.
Now. And all of those Bonnie people would remember that moment. We went out, we were 6.5 goals down, or 7.5 goals down at three-quarter time.
Of a preliminary final.
Of a prelim. We got the first clearance and kicked a point. They got the second clearance and kicked a goal. And you'd think it was dead at that stage. We ended up winning the game by 2.5 goals.
Did you really?
It was like a bloody avalanche. I'm telling you. The ball fell our way.
And Somerville's a really good ground for atmosphere because everyone's right on that fence, and you've got that boundary line where the grandstand is.
I'll never forget that victory. And you could have sworn the footy pundits would have said, well, they'd played their grand final and they'll be cooked for next week. But we got ourselves up, and I played against my all-time. I look after this bloke. Glenn Moulton's the best footballer in the best 2 or 3 footballers I've ever seen.
Yep.
He was at Aspendale, but he moved to Red Hill. And here I am saddled up against my hero, my idol. It was tough stuff.
But you got best on ground that day, didn't you?
Well, but the coach gave me BOG, and I was pretty happy with that. I kicked a few goals at an important time, but just a win against Red Hill and against Chooker and Dash were playing as well.
Yeah.
Wow, mate, it was a huge, huge day, and we celebrated for about a week and a half.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, a week and a half, I reckon.
So how long did you stay there for? Another couple of years?
I stayed the following year. It was promotion relegation.
Yes.
And what evolved was we stepped up from the Nepean League into the Premier League.
Yep, Peninsula, yeah. No, it was Mornington. Was it?
I can't remember now. Anyway, it was you get promoted up into this league, and we weren't much good.
No.
We won three games all year, and ironically I think it was either the last or second last game, we beat the then Premier, or the to-be Premiers Seaford in a cliffhanger at Bondi.
They had Boswell and Bartley and
gee whiz, they had
Hawks.
a great footy team.
Yeah.
Awesome footy team.
Yeah.
But and the following year, you know what, I really wanted to go back home.
Yeah.
And I approached a couple of the Bomb Beach officials, and I don't need to name them, but they were adamant that I was staying at Bomb Beach, and I was just as adamant that I wasn't. And I did something really undisciplined. I'd never done it, and I never did it ever, and I haven't done it. I didn't do it afterwards. I was so disappointed that the first game of the year, I went out on the piss, and to this day it is the blemish in my
career. Because you're a professional person now.
One of those things that I was still filthy on myself for that day. But you know what? Karma has a way to come around and whack you. Anyway, I turn up late to the game, and Chris Bull's the coach, and I love Chris Bull. He's a beauty, mate.
Yeah.
He's a very, very
coached
good
me
friend.
as well.
I can remember the look he gave me when I stumbled in with about 5 minutes before game time, and I thought, you're on the bench, Glanville. And I can't repeat what he said, but it was words to the effect, get changed, you're starting. And if looks could kill, I'd died on the spot.
Yeah,
mate.
you wouldn't want to get in there with Bully.
So at the first bounce, I went for a tackle, and I just about tore the hamstring off the bone.
Yeah.
And that was my end of playing days at Bomb Beach. They still wouldn't clear me, and it was one person only. And there'll be some wry smiles on a few Bomb Beach people. I still, to this day, I'm welcome. I love being at that footy club. It's an awesome club. But
especially to be a premiership player and all that. I mean, that's always special time.
That's their last flag.
Yeah.
84. They should have won a few in between.
Yeah,
now and then.
Yeah.
But look, when it was all said and done, they wouldn't release me, so I went and played Amos. I went and played A-grade Amos at DLR for a handful of games and had a wow of a time there. Still have friends to this day. Just for the half a year I spent there, ripping blokes.
And then you ended back up at...
Yeah, they finally cleared me at the start of 87. Kenny Little was coaching, and they drew back a couple of other players from retirement and being elsewhere, and we got together a pretty handy team.
Yeah,
87.
And you went on to win the flag in 87?
We went on to win the flag. We had a couple of imports, terrific players.
So what, 87? Mm-hmm. Did you win another senior flag with so you won in 78, was it, and 87?
I didn't play in 78.
No.
No, that was just Brett Wright from this team.
Yeah.
And 87 we won the flag. We got beaten in 88 by Pines in the seniors. And then Edithvale, I didn't play in it, but Aspendale won in 89. They played Chelsea. I was coach of the reserves that year.
Oh, yeah.
And we were beaten by Pines in the reserves.
Oh, Big Cowboy would have kicked a few.
Cowboy kicked a few. We beat them. Their first defeat for the year was in the second semi.
Gee, they had a powerful second side back then, Al, didn't they?
They had a game plan too ready for us in the grand final, and I found myself flat on my backside after the first bounce, and I woke up in the forward pocket. But anyway, that's footy stories for later. But they gave us a hiding that day. They were a better footy team, and they were bigger and tougher. We just gave them a bit of a scare.
Was that the start of your coaching career back?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I didn't have an astute or great coaching career in that I didn't coach many years.
Yep.
I coached again in 95.
Yep.
We went close again, but not close enough. But I enjoyed my last 4 years.
Yeah.
In the reserves level, 95, 6, 7 and 8. It was good fun. But I called it quits at the end of 98.
98, did you?
We lost a semi-final in the reserves, and I badly injured my knee.
Yep.
And from there, I sort of started to think about the administrative roles.
Which is the next part of it, Al, isn't it? And to go to Edithvale with the great Kenny Lyons.
Yeah.
So he was a wonderful and
very dear friend,
and a great friend of mine.
Very dear friend.
To Kenny Lyons and his family, to win his first ever league medal was a great honour for me.
Yeah.
But what that did is gave me a great friendship for a duration of time.
Kenny was one of the world's nice people.
Yeah.
Really was. Without getting too emotional, and I'm likely to.
Yeah, Kenny. So is that part of the reason why you got into the administration role, Al, or
there's always a transitional period of passing the baton at football clubs, and he always tapped me on the shoulder and he said, one day, mate, I think you should be president of the club. And I used to laugh about it and joke about it because that was back in my playing days. But he was grooming me, there's no doubt about it. But the guy that had the influence on me was Ray Stewart from Chelsea.
Was he? From Chelsea?
No,
wasn't he a
good fella? Yeah. A good administrator. And I came to him halfway through 98 and I said, I'm thinking about the presidency, what do you think? And he just had this wry smile on his face, mate. He said, you'll do a great job. He said, it's hard yards, but really rewarding.
Yeah.
And he gave me the footprint and the blueprint, if you like, of, I asked him, where do I start? How do I do it? The pros, the cons. And I owe a lot to Ray. I really do, to this day. I'm sure I've told him.
And Al, you are a good administrator. You're a great communicator.
You wing it, though, at the start.
Well, of course you do. Yeah. But that's... As long as you've got the confidence and the belief in yourself, and you're a good organiser, Al, and you present yourself really well, and that's why you were never going to fail.
Well, do you know what? It's the old fallback, but it's a fact. I can't do it on my own, mate.
No,
I'm telling you. We had 2 or 3 really, really good committee people, a great treasurer and a great right-hand man, and the rest of the people fell into place and did their bit. We were pretty strong on recruiting. I never liked losing.
No.
And we at that stage, Mornington were really getting up steam. They were and I based a lot of my beliefs and my goals set on what Kev Seal and those at Mornington before me had done, and they were my benchmark, and we went after them. And in 97 we weren't quite good enough. 98 we nearly got there, albeit for Mornington kicking with the win for 3 quarters, if you don't mind.
Car Street,
And Goose tore us a new one in the last quarter by kicking 6, and that was 98, and that I can remember I had blood on my knuckles because I'd punched the grandstand was filthy, and I went away determined that this wasn't going to happen again. Went out and recruited really strongly. Picked up a couple of blokes from Springvale, and it was
so 99.
Really, really good footy team. 99, and we won that.
So you were the president in 99, instrumental in setting it up, and especially because
I've always been
especially when you talk about the disappointment of 98.
Oh yeah,
and
that drove Brett Wright and I. Yeah, it really drove us. We said, all right, what do we need? We sat down and we chased. We chased. Pretty attractive club to come to for most part, and we drew some really good players. Had a cracking year. That was the toughest decision Brett Wright's ever made, because he started as the playing coach and he was still getting a ton of kicks, but we turned in 98 we turned 4-4.5. In other words, 4 losses, 4 wins
and a draw.
And we were less than impressive and probably underwhelming, and Brett said, right, that's it. So he pulled the boots off and he started to coach. And I don't know whether it was why we went the way we went, but he really was focused on coaching. He still could have got a kick. He could have got a kick now.
Yeah.
But he gave it up, and too, that takes a lot of guts when you're the best. And he took it on, and well, history would have it, we won, 10 in a row on the trot, and we won the flag in 99. Not satisfied with that, I said, let's go and get some more players in 2000. And to this day, aside from the great three-peats of YC and Seaford, I think to this day is the best footy team I've ever seen on the Mornington Peninsula in 2000.
You won it again?
We won it again, and won it comfortably.
Yes.
And without any due respect, with all due respect to Mornington, without disrespect to Mornington, I don't think anyone could have beaten us on that day.
And that's what's happened in the competition over the last few years.
Indeed.
YC have been outstanding.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to go back down memory lane, because we've had some terrific players.
Yeah.
But and the competition has been a great competition now.
I think forever. It's been good. You go peaks and troughs and all sorts of different things through eras and how great everyone was. I mean, I've only had those conversations in the last 2 weeks because we talk about it all the time. That's all us old footballers have got to talk about, mate, of how good or how or bad we were in the time. But the last couple of weeks we've been guests at Pines for their reunion for 88.
Yes, 88.
And the following week at Mornington when they beat us in 89.
98. And there was 88 and then 98 at Mornington the week after.
So we had good times. And
so you frequently go and watch the boys, don't you, at Edith Vale?
I rarely miss a home game. I've got commitments with my girls.
But you've been travelling as well. I've heard that you've been down there at the Bombers. Yeah. You're at Mornington. You're at the Pines. Yeah. So there's 3.
Done a little bit. It's just hard juggling the 3 girls. I thought I'd dodged a bullet with 3 girls. They're all playing football.
Are they?
Yeah, they're all having a go. They love it.
I think it's been great for girls in general, hasn't it?
Mate, we look at our footy club now, and now we have 5 netball teams, and with counting the junior club, 5 girl teams as well. And that just opens up the dynamic and more people, and it really softens the mood, and we really are a family club now.
And I think that's the way it's all gone, Al.
Look, it's been the best way. It takes the testosterone out of the footy clubs. It's really mellow and chilled. We still have a party, and there's still larrikins, but it's not a bloke's world anymore.
Not anymore.
Not by any stretch.
Not like what it was in the 70s and the 80s.
No,
I think it's important that the girls are there. And, I think the competition's really good, Al.
I like the way the competition's going. I think we'll always follow, or try to follow, the AFL. But what has really tidied up is the footy's tidied up. If kids can put their head over the footy these days, you're pretty safe. You're pretty unlucky.
You are.
You'll always get hurt in our game, but you're not getting pinged anymore.
You're not anymore, Al.
There's barely even a scrap anymore.
No, that's right.
A little bit of a push and shove, but at the end of the day, back when I was initiated in the very late 70s, there was a fair bit of biffo going on.
Yeah.
But you don't even see it nowadays, which is great.
Not anymore. Hey, mate, wonderful to catch up with you, Al. Talk about the old times and just talk about what a wonderful career that you have had. And,
thanks, mate. That's really generous.
But it's not just that; it's what you've also brought to the competition.
I'm lucky enough to want to have had to have done that. Do you know what I mean? A lot of guys have got really busy lives. Not to say that I haven't, but I had the drive and a want to do it at Aspendale.
Yeah.
I didn't feel necessarily you had to do it. I just wanted to do it. But it's like anything. There comes a time when you have to hand the baton over, and I did that to Jimmy Christopher.
Yeah.
And what evolves is...
And the club's in a wonderful position now, Al.
They're going nicely. They've got a stack of new players in the team, and
their list is really strong. And I don't think that Edith Vale has played their best football this year yet.
I'm positive they haven't. No, they've got if they put it together. But gee whiz, like we played against Seaford on the weekend, and they were in touch with us to 3/4 time. This is a better league at the moment.
Of course it is.
We played at Rosebud. They nearly beat us. And they're down there. It's like. And it's great to see the Bombers up there.
Yes, wonderful.
They've got a
good side, the Bombers.
The one we've got to watch for, mate, the Smoky, is that Wisely are nearly out of the 5, but boy, oh boy.
If they can just get a few back, and I think after this bye weekend, they'll get a few back.
They will.
Wonderful to catch up with you, mate.
Good on you, mate. It's been a pleasure. Ta.
Cheers.